Oh man, look, there was multiple times where I had to do the Scooby Doo, the track race to get to the laptop, to the set right here, to the couch, just to play that damn intro, Devin. Now we got the logo up top. Of course, we got the heel turn header down low. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and all the good stuff. Hello, all, and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr. Alongside me, the other host, the main man, Devin Lee Crimes Jr. Devin, how you doing today?
Oh, I mean, it's Tuesday. It's 9:07. My time. I don't know who time it is. Pacific, all that crap. But I'm doing pretty good. I'm here.
There's
I
a
got a smile on my face too.
look. I don't mean to always. You know what? I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna just hold it in. Look, it's 9. Like you said, it's 9. I'm gonna say it anyway. You there's a certain race.
It's a dog barking outside my window.
There's a certain race that they'll tell you how late it is. They won't say dang it's late. They just gonna tell you the time. Hey, it's 9:07.
Because it should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, that's they warning. They'd be like, "What? You want me to wake up at what? It's 6:07." Like, oh, okay.
That is 9:08. I feel like CM Punk.
Right, it's like it's clobbering time. It's like, dang,
it's 9:08.
But look, man, like Devin said, it's 9:08. We is not gonna hold up all your time. We also wanted to get some clips as well. We wanted to just feed the wrestling community, just give out a lot of our reactions, a lot of our takes, and also for you guys to share your takes with us as well, so we can have some fun. Exactly. Let's get right into NXT. NXT, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Of course, Joe Hendry called out Trick, but Dark State showed up and beat the brakes off him. And that was pretty much the running joke that whole night. Was like, hey, say his name and he appeared. Too bad we didn't make your ass disappear. That was Dark State. That was what they said. Trick Williams pretty much said that he wasn't going to show up. It seems like Joe Hendry is staying in NXT for a little while. TNA champion, getting a lot of love in NXT. Your thoughts about that?
I think it's pretty cool. I think the NXT TNA partnership is really. I mean, I'm not gonna bring them other people up. I'm just not gonna do it. It's not Wednesday, but I will say the NXT TNA partnership is well, I mean, it's WWE. It's not just really NXT because Joe Hendry was on WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble, so I really can't just limit it, that partnership to just NXT. But even with NXT superstars showing up on TNA, hence Trick Williams popping up on TNA Sunday. And at first I was like, why he do that? Because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't see what Joe Hendry said prior last week that led up to Sunday, and it all made sense. I would have pulled up too, even if it was a Sunday, even if I don't work so all in all, to put a bow on that, I think Joe Hendry, showing up on TNA and NXT like he is, it's a good showing of this partnership they got.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to show him a whole lot of love after what you saw at WrestleMania with him getting pretty much squashed by Randy Orton. A lot of people think, Joe Hendry just got pretty much embarrassed. A lot of people thought that's what TNA is being represented as in WrestleMania. But all in all, I do think it was really, really good and a good setup for Joe Hendry. I'm glad he's getting some love. And like I said, from WrestleMania, getting beat up by Randy Orton in 3 minutes to now you're in a program in NXT that's also bleeding into TNA. I think that's a really, really great sign for Joe Hendry. So even going past that, just looking, my bad, did I cut you off?
No, my fault. He had put a pause. I was like, dang, was he expecting me to like put another bow on that? My fault.
Oh no, it's cool. I was also typing as well. I'm also
He was like, I said his name again and he didn't appear. The hell?
He said I said his name and he didn't show up. Well, that's because he got beat up. Well, I got a honk to get his attention. But we can talk about that a little bit.
Tank might get you.
Right, exactly.
But I watched them do a main event before I saw Monday. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no,
when I was at Monday Night Raw last year, March. They were like the main event, like early, tag team match, and I was like, man, don't nobody care about no Hank and Tank. But I mean, look, they took out my most hated team, Fraxium. So they forever gonna be one of my favorites now.
If ever gonna be one of my favorites, exactly. And they honestly, this is my one of the first times I've seen them. I've seen them a couple times, and I've done what you
I
did.
really didn't care.
I said, "Oh yeah, phooey. I don't care no more. It is what it is." But even before then, we saw Ricky Saints go up against Lexis King, and of course, Ricky Saints retains against Lexis King. Lexis King seeing a whole lot of bad luck here, although I think he is a really good wrestler. Not gonna say great, not gonna say really awesome, but he's a good wrestler.
There's something to work with there.
Yeah, he's where he needs to be. Let's just put it like that. He's exactly where he needs to be. Ricky Saints is going on a run of just beating his old colleagues, now turned new colleagues. They just got different names, I guess. And so, even looking at Ricky Saints in ring right now, how good is he looking? Do you think Ricky Saints is ready for the big leagues now, or do you think he needs a little bit more time?
Well, he said his goal was to be wrestling at WrestleMania next year in New Orleans. So I think if he continues right now on the pace that he's going, he'll make it there. Because look, it's only been because he debuted like right before WrestleMania, right? Like,
Yep.
wait, not even that. Tripping it out, he defended his championship at Stand and Deliver. Like he just got there. The point I'm trying to put is, if you look at this pace of what he's doing now, and it's only been like a month and a half or so, yeah, he fine. Literally just continue the pace he's going. I do see him becoming NXT champion. I'm not saying he necessarily has to win it, because he can just get have a really decent run with the North American Championship and put a bow on that and call it a day, and go on up to the main roster. But yeah, I put it this way: I'm on the board with his track of him being at WrestleMania on the card next year. On his pace right now, currently. I'm gonna dock it. I'm gonna write it down.
I'm gonna dock it.
Let me get an old tablet. And I ain't talking about one of the electronic ones, the ones we used to write notes on.
NXT champion, I agree though. NXT champ, I do see him being one of the guys that might turn around and beat Obafemi. Obafemi's gonna have a long run. I don't care what Undertaker was talking about, and we could just run through that real fast. Undertaker bringing them little security guards over to Obafemi. Obafemi is like, "What do you want me to do with them? What do you want me to do with those?"
Some guys over here, LFG.
Let's go. As soon as he said that, I got some guys from LFG. Man, stop talking to me, man. The niggas stay in LFG. What are you talking about? Like, come on now, brother. And I ain't got nothing against LFG, if you can't tell. But
snatching like
they just went up to the wrong person. I'm like, bro, you is not gonna walk up to Obafemi talking about some, man, I got some young guys, and they got the 3 biggest dudes.
Okay, say, man, walk up to Wesley like that.
Right, exactly. I could do that. I could do that at my old high school. I could grab some 6'8" guys. Man, we got a squad here. Y'all just ain't seen them hoop. I ain't seen them wrestle. You seen them wrestle?
Oh, my fault. I heard was a whole bunch of noise in my background. My fault.
Oh, my bad. I was like, have you seen them wrestle? Them LFG guys?
I'll be honest with you. I have not watched a single episode. The most I've seen has been in them commercials. Because
man, ain't touching it.
I ain't gonna crap on LFG. I understand, why it's a show. And all respect to them. Maybe I'll be on there. Show them how it's done. Undertaker, he gonna bring me up there. They gonna stop there. I'm done.
Man, it just made me sick, man.
It's 9 o'clock. See, this is what you get with Devin after hours.
After hours, man, I'm telling you, that's where he gets mad. Let's make him even more mad. Cause Sol Ruka.
I'm gonna get mad over that.
Well, that's the thing. Sol Ruka defeats Carmen Petrovic. I thought it was a really cool match. I love me some Sol Ruka.
She was doing springboards from the bottom rope.
Man, Sol Ruka just
you can't even do that in 2K.
This is gonna sound crazy. And I'm not talking about in ring. I'm just talking about in terms of just charisma when she come out there. Like, I just get a little bit of like just AJ Lee vibes from her. Just like she just seems so like if she came out to the lighted up theme music, the theme song, I wouldn't care. It just fits her perfectly.
I was going to light up. No, I see exactly what you mean. And her being the women's North American champion is just adding on even more to it.
Man, as it should. And so even going through with that, I mean, just looking at how everything's playing out, Zarya, of course, is pretty much staring at the North American title, breathing on it, looking at her reflection, because it ain't hers. So she's pretty much she's the belt holder.
Pressure.
Not only is she the belt holder, she's also the Soul Ruka holder. She got to carry it to the ring. Exactly. She's going to get mad eventually. But even with that, backstage, Kaylani scriptedly told her that, you don't defend that every week like I do. And that's the problem.
She just won it.
The only difference between her and Aaliyah is that she just don't look down. The only difference between her and Aaliyah is that she just don't look down when she read her script, man. Other than that, they sound the exact same.
You don't defend that championship, and you know it.
And you know it. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, dang, man. You shouldn't even have to that should be memorized. Like, it ain't even that deep. But even outside of that, of course, Zarya, gets in front of Soul Ruka like, hey, man, if you want to touch Soul Ruka, you gotta touch me first.
She said that Spider-Man, you gotta go through me.
You gotta go through me. And honestly, I loved every second of it. And that's honestly, I could see Zarya being like, hey, y'all don't touch Soul Ruka because I want to touch Soul Ruka. It's just like I want to
hit it with that. What's that F5 should be doing?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere one day, it's gonna hurt. Because they've been going rope skate together and all that stuff.
And I can't wait because I think that's a match that I can't wait to see happen. Honestly, I think that's going to be a match that's awesome. I don't know if Soul Ruka is going to be able to handle all that, or maybe that's going to be the match that moves her away from the North American title and elevates her. Or she retains. Either or, I don't see Soul Ruka being hurt by this afterwards at all. But we was honking all day, Pauls. We might as well just continue to honk. Hank and Tank, of course, had their NXT tag team title match against Inamura and Briggs. Josh Briggs, the one that was flipping out months ago. He looked like a crazy man. He looked like a crackhead, if we just gonna be honest. That man looked he was crazy. I just remember him flipping out on commentators. He was carrying them.
Wait, no, that was I'm sorry. That was his partner though. That was Josh
Briggs' partner. Not Josh.
I know exactly. No, he was his partner though. I can't think of his name because he's with Sean Spears in them now. But he was a crackhead.
Josh Briggs.
I was legit kind of scared for the dude.
Dang, man, I forgot.
I feel bad because I forgot his name. Yeah, there we go.
Oh man, thank you.
You can easily swatch them names all together. They like bicycle license plates, to be honest.
That's a good save, man. That was a great save. But see, look, hey, it's 9:20. Look at that. There goes. It's 9:20.
See, people, only a certain kind of people will tell you what time it is.
But even then, I think the match was pretty solid. Like I said, I'm becoming more and more of a Hank and Tank fan. I'm going to continue to keep honking as they're on the screen. As we mentioned before, even though we see him, Hank and Tank, being alongside Joe Hendry, we still look at the LFG guys that still come up from the fray the Undertaker was talking about. I think NXT is already stacked. NXT is already stacked. LFG can stay LFG, honestly. And when you're seeing the tag team titles being not only defended, not only also being shown this much throughout the couple of weeks that we've seen it, because honestly, if we're looking at it, look at the outrage from SmackDown and Raw as well. Aren't you loving, the action that we're seeing from the NXT tag team division?
Because I'm over here all excited because I was gonna jump because not even just LFG that they're teasing, people to show up. Even Evolve, because Evolve had a couple of weeks ago swipe right. They went against, I think they went against Fraxum. And it was a pretty good match.
You watching Evolve? This man watching Evolve.
Because at first I was like, swipe right. I'm like, man, you going somewhere, man. But then they showed up on NXT, so I'm like, well, shoot, they must be, something if they advanced up to here to be, on here to have a match on NXT for Evolve. And I was impressed. So I mean, for them to even have as we're talking about how deep the tag team is just inside of NXT alone, then you throw in people from LFG you can bring in, then you throw in people from Evolve you can bring in, and we're not even talking about TNA.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the Hardys that could show up at any point. Like it's
endless. It is absolutely endless, man, and I can't wait to see where they go with it. But even switching from the men's division, we still have the women's division because, of course, now we can hold off for a second because, of course, we know how Roxanne is. But Roxanne and Julia are talking backstage, and Roxanne is kind of, the high school girl. You guys seen Easy A. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen Easy A, or Mean Girls. Roxanne Perez is one of them. There it goes. Roxanne Perez is one of them.
I was like,
Yeah, no, I
Mean
was like,
Girls is my movie.
I had to think
She
of
doesn't
something.
even go here.
Yeah, you don't even go here. Come on now. Like, we all know one of them. Roxanne Perez is one of them. So Roxanne Perez is like, I hated you when you showed up, but now I kind of like you because you're useful. It's just like that's pretty much how it's being played out. And Julia is just like, hey, look, let's just tag. I don't know. I can't really generalize it. I feel like they just came to a synopsis that, hey, we're talented, we're tag teaming together, and we're beating the brakes off of the Raw Women's Champion right now. Let's just continue to team up and let's see how far this
let's just keep doing this.
We see Io Sky and, of course, Jordan Grace team up. Jordan Grace looks absolutely amazing. Swole Sabrina Carpenter. Espresso with a little bit of, a little bit of power to it,
Can't do it.
But I love how this women's division is turning out. Io Sky got the break speed off of her, but, of course, she ain't finna lose in the NXT. She did enough of that in the NXT. So, just going how that's played out, just looking how this is fared. I mean, you're just seeing how this is playing out. You're seeing the NXT champion Stephanie McCure wrestle on a pretty much daily basis. Like, of course, I'm exaggerating, but you're seeing her a whole lot. Man, this women's division is stacked. Where do you see this going for NXT? Do you see it getting a little overcrowded? Do you see somebody getting the old NXT treatment, the Shinsuke, Asuka, that kind of treatment where we're not really seeing them as powerful or dominant as they was in NXT?
I say yes to all of that. I see it definitely getting overcrowded because from just as we were just bringing up, like the different influx of people that they could just bring in from anywhere at any point, on top of already been boasting about how stacked their women's division's been even before we were talking about any other promotions or anything coming into it. So and now when you step to this year, because last year they were just teasing like Julia and Stephanie, and now they're the main forefront of it all now at this point. Yeah, and it's been cool to see Stephanie to just have matches like in very competitive matches on Monday Night Raw. And she's their NXT champion. Like it's cool to see that exposure for that brand, and crossing over with stories where Roxanne's coming out to attack, and now EO's involved. Now she's coming to NXT. So it's a lot of that crossplay will kind of help with the overcrowdedness because I feel like you kind of designate other people's story something else so it doesn't seem so crowded up. Because think about people that's not even like what's Jada Parker gonna do, for instance, or Lola Vice, for instance. Those are like big players too, and we're looking at this going like, oh shoot, what's next? And we haven't even factored those them into it. That's how deep it is. So it's another NXT, the tag team division, the women's division. It kind of is an endless choice.
And so the bag is deep. The bag is deep, and we also shouldn't be shocked whenever somebody wants to leave. We also got to throw that. I mean, there's also a good like I know you said you didn't want to bring up the company across the street because you hate them, but I really feel like it's one of those things where you see that not necessarily that it's not so overcrowded over there, but you could be dominant over there, man. Mercedes Moné, the only person that's out there beating everybody up. Hey, I could beat up Mercedes Moné. Look how much I drew here at WWE. Look how much I did here at WWE. Yada, yada, yada. So I really think that's perfect. I thought NXT was a really solid show. Devin, your thoughts on NXT?
I thought NXT was a very solid show indeed. I agree. And me and NXT, we go way back. So I watched NXT 2.0 grow up right before my eyes. And I'm really proud to see where they're going. They have an identity, I want to say. It feels like a show that it feels like a brand that knows what they're trying to do. And I mean, I ain't trying to say like obviously they should, but there was a time where I was like, "What the heck is this supposed to be?" One minute I'm supposed to take Braun Breaker seriously, and the next minute you got this man trying to breakdance and do karaoke. One of these ain't the other.
Exactly. No, I definitely agree. I really agree. And with NXT, like I said, I definitely don't see me going back and reviewing NXT. If Devin wants to go back and do it at some point, that's a fair game. But honestly, I think we're sticking to Raw, AEW, SmackDown, and then we're just going to PLEs. But speaking of Raw, and speaking of Braun Breaker, as you
Why you
mentioned,
ain't throw TNA?
no TNA. Well, we might do TNA too.
I forgot you say TNA. Huh?
Look, I do TNA. I watch TNA.
I'm telling you, man, give it a couple weeks, man. You'll be like, all right, I see what Devin was talking about back in 08.
Well, I see what Devin was talking about back in 08. I was like, you know what? As long as they show me the ratings, I want to see the ratings with what NXT, to what TNA be putting out. Because I want to know if I'm the only one watching. I need to know if I'm the only one there, if I'm the only one in the room.
Hey, it's funny you watching TNA. It's like it's just you by yourself.
It's just like I just disappear. I just be sitting there like, hello. It's like me on what's it called? What is it called? The Thunderdome?
Yeah, when it was on screens, it's just you the only screen.
Yeah, I'm the only screen. Like, it's just me and the spear. It's just me just there. Yo! Yeah!
Like the craziest fan too.
Looking at the
this
spear.
Man got like 50 signs he brings up.
Look, what is this man doing? I believe in Joe Hendry. Like just clapping.
Your internet bad, it's like lagging. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I ain't mean. See, I'm talking about watching it. I'm over here crying. You gonna be the only one in there watching it,
right? Yeah, I was telling you that I'll be the only one in the crying. I'll be the only one in the depressed. But look, I don't think anybody was depressed on the start of Raw. Looking at Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker, of course, and then of course look at Braun Breaker in that suit and that highly tanned skin that he has. Look. You gotta give it to these guys. Seth Rollins says that Braun Breaker is the future, which he is. Of course, you have Sami Zayn always buttoning his nose into places where it don't belong.
That's exactly what he did.
I'm so sick of Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn makes me absolutely sick. I wish Kevin Owens would have ended him. Not ended him like dead, but like, just not even career wise, but just like get him out the way for a little.
Wait.
Like,
I can't believe
it's just get him out the way for just 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. He did, he showed up after Mania, Raw after Mania, but it should have been a little bit longer.
I get the sentiment. I do. I actually feel the same. Just not as extreme.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that extreme, honestly. Well, yeah, but when you're looking at it from the point of view of just a couple weeks ago, you was just yeeting with Jey Uso, staring at him, just waiting to hit him with a haluva kick. To this week, pretty much saying that Seth Rollins is jealous. They're saying that they're somewhat friends, but he's jealous because he probably wants to be in the spot that Seth is in or that CM Punk is in, and he's that crazy, yada yada. Does Seth have a point?
Seth or Sammy? I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad. That's what Sammy said. Does Sammy have a point?
He does. Cause like that's the thing. Look at it. He was all like, "Don't compare me to the bloodline," and I'm like, "You literally got Paul Heyman over your shoulder." Like that was one of the very first pieces of the bloodline was when Roman turned the camera turned over and was Paul sitting there, and then you got Braun Breaker. So I'm like, then you got you in the Enforcer, just your solo. You look just like the bloodline. So you either die a hero or you look like the bloodline at some point. So yeah, no, Sammy was spitting fire. I agree with everything he said. I hate you. I can't stand him, but he not wrong.
Yeah, I just wish he would stick to staring into Jey Uso's eyes and kicking him in the face. But instead, oh man, I can't wait to talk about that. I definitely can't wait to talk about that. But we also got to talk about the match that happened right afterwards. Rhea Ripley taking on Roxanne Perez. Now, of course, we wasn't going to see this match through and through. You know, I don't think they were going to let Roxanne Perez just get absolutely squashed and smacked down like that. That was going to be my prediction, obviously, to that match. But instead, it got a little interrupted. Of course, before things were going to break down for Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley did defeat Roxanne Perez, but of course by disqualification when Julia showed up. And of course, we've seen how that's played out so far with Io Sky defeating both Roxanne Perez and Julia with Jordan Grace. But Rhea Ripley and Roxanne Perez, I mean, we got to see them touch a little bit. Roxanne Perez getting seen a little bit more on the main roster. Why hasn't she moved up fully? What's your prediction on that?
I'm puzzled. I'm really puzzled. I can't even get it out. Yeah, I'm puzzled too because when she was the last, what was she was the last one in the Rumble when Charlotte had to eliminate her to win. I think I thought
Yep.
then that was like her main roster I'm here moment, and then she was in the chamber as well, which that's kind of put as like a main event picture for the women's division. I'm like, you're in the like it's like all these pieces where I'm like, you should be on the main roster. Why are you still, hanging around NXT?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing else for you to do.
There
That's
ain't
why
nothing
she
else
be
for
so
you to
mad.
do.
That's why she be so mad down there.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much of Roxanne
Shit like
Perez.
this.
There's so much of Roxanne Perez in NXT. Like she gets a whole lot of screen time, and honestly,
I'm thinking like
yes,
I can't stand it.
the things for Roxanne Perez to do, I believe it's endless. The more things get built up in NXT, of course she did defeat Jordan Grace, and she loses to Julia. Now she gets to go off against Julia again. She could try to redeem herself, yada yada yada, the whole 9 yards. There's so much for her to do. Why can't we just do that on the main roster? I feel like we can hot shot that on the main roster. Not necessarily hot shot it, but we can mold that
You can see that on
down
the
there.
main roster.
So that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. But Devin,
She could
I
be
need
doing what Lyra Valkyria doing.
man, that's we're gonna get to her too, because that bothers me. That's bothering the mess out of me. She not necessarily her. She not bothering me. It's people like you that bother me. But we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that. Because what happened next is something that I really need your thoughts on. I need to figure out how you feel about Jey Uso and Logan Paul having a war of words on Monday Night Raw.
Well, I think you gotta start somewhere. What better place to start than with the YouTube sensation Logan Paul? I mean, think about it. The man just been in the Elimination Chamber. I mean, think about it. The man was the last two people in the Royal Rumble, or last three people in the Royal Rumble. That speaks big volumes. Okay, so not even that. Let's think about what he did last year. He was the United States champion. He beat Randy Orton and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Not only that, he went toe to toe with the tribal chief Roman Reigns. He did not come victorious, but he did show up to fight. Not only that, he beat Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Not only that, he manhandled Rey Mysterio the last time they was in the ring. And I know it's Rey Mysterio, but it's Rey Mysterio, may I say. And not only that, he's done more in the past 5 years than Jey Uso did in the past 10. I'm just kidding. I ain't gonna do all that. That last part I don't like. But
The last part I don't like.
because I'm like, we can't do this. Like he was the tag team. I'm like, come on now. But no, I mean, everything I said was a true fact. I can't, argue facts. But my mind was thinking of like at that moment with the celebration with Sammy. I'm thinking like backlash is like a few weeks away. I'm thinking Sammy finna hit him one of them Luva kicks. After he get done yeeting, and I'm like, Sammy been a good guy for a good while. It's been a minute since he's been a heel. I think him and Jey Uso feud could work. They got the history. Uh, where they go from there, I don't know because now they got Logan Paul in here. So maybe once we get through Logan Paul, we can go down that road of Sammy turning against Jay. because I don't have much to say for this. I mean, it's just gonna be a match. I don't know. No, if you're gonna beat anybody, go ahead, beat Logan Paul with Jay.
So you mean
It
to
should
tell
be
me?
Karrion Kross enough. Give me Jay Uso and Karrion.
You see, man, it's people like you,
This the
man.
problem. What you mean? It's
It's
people like
people.
he would have. This the man. I like Logan Paul. I think he's a great wrestler.
Yeah, I like Logan Paul. I think he's a great wrestler. Yeah, I agree with what you said. but in saying that, him going up against Jay Uso, we were told to take Jay Uso so seriously when he was fighting Gunther. When Gunther was telling him he finna beat the brakes off of him every week, which he did, to pretty much gain him some to garner the slightest of respect from the man, which he did because Jey Uso did end up winning. And your next match, your next challenger is Logan Paul, bro, a man that's just now somewhat full time. If we could give him that, I guess we could call him full time. He's signed a
He
2
been
year.
a been a more than he usually is. Look at me,
Yeah,
he been there a little bit more than he usually be.
so I was like, he not just showing up when the big PLEs arrive, when the big four arrive, which he do, but he is gonna show up at Backlash. He is gonna show up at in Saudi, things of that nature. So, but Devin, you got to be embarrassed by this, man. You got to be embarrassed. This is embarrassing. I feel like this as a Jey Uso fan. I'm a Jey Uso fan, but I'm not a yeeter. I'm not a yeetaholic.
Well, so I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, if they didn't go the route I just thought of with Sammy, I don't think that would hurt. Because what you gonna do? You gonna have JB, CM Punk? You going? I mean, well, hold on. I take that back. I won't even swing that high right now. Let's see. In terms of JB and Jay working with,
If Sammy would have kicked him right there and Jay beat Sammy, that's perfect. I have zero.
That's what I'm saying. That gives us a start.
That's a huge start. I would have loved it, but that's not
And
what
then
we.
you could have. I know. That's what I mean. That's where I'm like, I'm really just sitting here just thinking like, all right, let's at least get past Backlash. Then that's all we got, because now that's the road they want us to go down. Unfortunately, I still got hope for this great Sami Zayn Jey Uso story. So it could still happen. He could beat Logan Paul. We yeet, and they do another celebration thing because Sammy, just recovered from like 80 spears from Braun Breaker or whatever. And he like, what, I'm getting tired of getting speared 50 times. I'm gonna just go ahead and do what Seth's saying. Forget you, Jay. I'm coming for you. It's just.
Do you even have
It's right
faith?
there.
Do you have faith in the Jey Uso Logan Paul match?
No. Only because I know going into it, it's not gonna feel it's not gonna have a soul like I knew another few we could have had.
And this is
It's
main
like
event Jey Uso. This was supposed to send us to bed at night, and it definitely is.
they kind of crap the bed with every WrestleMania though. I ain't main event Jey Uso.
Yeah, I give you that. But even then, throw all that away, man. Throw all this main event of Jey Uso away. We just gonna be yeeting because this is how I'm gonna be feeling about his title run. I'm gonna just be up and down feeling. That's how I'm just gonna be feeling about it, man. Logan Paul to start off this reign is cheeks.
It do hurt because I'm just thinking like I was just picturing like Sammy could like kicked him right there, and that could have been me. Da 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 da. And woo, because Jay the one that eliminated. I'm done. Because the more I pick up pieces of this, I'm gonna slap somebody. Because Jay the one that eliminated Sammy out the Rumble. Remember when they first was backstage and you thought like they was gonna have some issues, and he like, yo, you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah,
he could still be salty about that.
Exactly.
And like I said, Sammy ain't been a heel in a long time. Even when he was in the bloodline, he wasn't really a heel. He was just with some bad people and just made them laugh and made other people laugh. And remember, Jay was the one that didn't want him. I'm tired of putting more meat on this plate than they want to.
No, it's just irritating, man. It's irritating, and honestly, I think they're making a mistake. This is why Jey Uso shouldn't have won. This is why we should have started with Gunther, and then we're having Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Like, make it make sense. Like, what are we doing?
Hey, did we get Logan Paul versus Pat McAfee? They could have ran that back.
I would have been okay with that. And then having Jay and Gunther run it back. And then Gunther is like, you won't tap me out because I'm no bitch. You know, like something. Give me something.
Yeah, they could have had another. Like, I mean, granted, I'm probably sick of them going against each other, but granted, they could have had that second match because just because he had one win against Gunther don't really mean that this man still beat you like the 3 other times y'all went against each other. They
Exactly.
could have had another. They could have had an I quit match or something, and had Gunther saying I quit or something.
Just give me
To
something.
further solidify. Why are we thinking about this stuff? I don't mean it like that.
No, that's a
Sitting
great
there thinking
question.
like,
Why are we thinking
I'm
about this?
wondering why people looking at him crazy, and I'm like, well, shoot, because they not putting him. I ain't trying to say I know everything, but dang, it's better than him going against Logan Paul.
Yes.
First defense, like at least Roman went against him on his like 80th defense.
So I already put it out there. Of course, Jey Uso. When this is the thing I usually say. I give them 3 months when I have zero faith in somebody's title run.
I'll give you 2 money in the bank.
And so far, Jey Uso's title reign is starting off cheeks. Now that he's going up against Logan Paul, and now that I'm just not a fan. Is one thing I'm also not a fan of is I am a fan of the Judgment Day drama, but of course Judgment Day took on the War Raiders. Penta showed up, of course, costing the Judgment Day in the match, and the War Raiders will be taking on Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Do you really care too much or have any comments about that? We can deep dive into it when we have a full show, a fuller show. But do you have any deep thoughts, or do you care at all about what's happening?
Well, I think that the Finn Balor disrespect got to stop at some point because
I agree with that.
What's the point? Liv Morgan, a tag team champion. Raquel is Dominic is the IC champion. I mean, they really don't need him at all. And this is no disrespect to Finn. That's the thing. I ain't trying to disrespect them. They is. So
Yeah.
no. Pack it up. They'll be fine. They can remold themselves to something else. That's a whole another generation right there. And I ain't trying to be in no disrespect, but I'm trying to be real. Finn Balor need to lead the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
they've done no favors for him.
Yeah, no, I think at this point in time, Finn Balor has too much. Like, we always talk about how old a lot of these wrestlers are, and we talk about Finn age a lot. But yet, I still feel like there's so much for Finn to do. I still think like there's so much Finn can get done with the time that he has in his career. Let him leave the Judgment Day. He should have left a while ago. The Judgment Day will be fine without him. Let Dominic Mysterio run the Judgment Day. It's his time now. He's already showed us what he could do. He already has his girlfriend with him. Let them just run rampant around WWE real fast as they have. So I don't know. Like you said, why are we the ones to be discussing this?
Oh, I thought about Finn. I'm like, yeah, why are you in Judgment Day? I mean, Edge, you couldn't even be Edge in Hell in a Cell, Finn.
Oh, see why you got
you've been a link to the. I'm just saying, because even I just look at it, ever since then, I ain't seen highs for this dude. Yeah, he was the Raw Tag Team Champion. That's cool, but he can do more. And he ain't got to get treated like this. Hashtag free Finn.
Another person that doesn't have to be treated like this is Lyra Valkyria, man. Look, the man came out there, disrespected Lyra Valkyria. First off, disrespect to the fans. I'll start off by saying this. I'm sick of Becky Lynch. I got Becky Lynch fatigue. She been gone for how long? She came back for what, 2 weeks? I'm sick of her already. Sick of her already. Because she doing the exact same thing. It's just recycled and it's boring. It's boring. I seen the same thing, a decade ago? I could care less. Lyra Valkyria was out there spitting truth. She was talking game to her, and the crowd didn't give a damn, bro. They just sat there and stared at her with their head sideways, just confused as to what like Lyra was speaking another foreign language. Like they was just confused. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria said, "You're on. Fight me at Backlash." Nobody said a damn thing. It's just they was like, "Bro, it's 9:45. Like, what you doing?" Like, made me sick to my stomach.
You gotta tell them what time it is.
It made me sick to my stomach. The Lyra Valkyria disrespect, as you talked about with the disrespect to Finn Balor, has to stop expeditiously. I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest.
I mean, my thing with Becky. I mean, how can I say this? I don't mind Lyra trying to, have her IC championship involved in some type of story. Because at some point, her in ring is as good as it's gonna be. It's like everything else in between, like character wise work and just things like that. I don't know if a heel turn down the road can help with that or not. But
Yeah.
from what we are speaking now, it's just how first you got the thing with Bailey. Because I feel like we could have told this same story with Bailey. Them throwing Becky Lynch into it, and then her saying she the one that attacked Bailey, and it felt like a lot of instances that are just kind of forced when like that path was already kind of late. It's similar to, maybe it's not, but is it kind of similar to how we felt with Gunther and Chad Gable, how it flipped into Sammy,
Yeah.
where like leading up to it, it was all this emotion where like you're like, you know what, I can see Chad beating Gunther at WrestleMania or whatnot. I can see y'all doing, but then they end up kind of going, oh no, we gonna have Sammy do that. Just go on the back burner somewhere.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make is just like I feel like the same story could have already happened. You could have planted these seeds before. Instead of just throwing Becky, and I got it, Becky and Lyra do have history, but it's just like to just interject it like right now at WrestleMania, just like boom, I got all this hatred for you. Like I've been on vacation and just sitting here plotting your oppression. I don't know. It is.
I feel like another thing is, as we mentioned before, there's just an overabundance of talent that we just saw in the midst of Becky Lynch being away. We get to talk about Sol Ruka. We get to talk about Jada Parker, Stephanie McCure, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Jordan Grace. We weren't thinking about Becky Lynch. Oh, when Becky Lynch coming back? You ever thought about that? I ain't never said that. No offense to Becky Lynch, but I ain't never heard anybody say when Becky Lynch coming back in the midst of her being gone. Maybe in the first 3 months. I mean, have you heard that?
No, I mean that's the thing. But like you said, it's no disrespect. But
Yes,
it's where the state of the division is that you can leave. You can go and have a hiatus, and it's not, gonna just the division just unwatchable. There's no credible champions anymore. It's not at that point, and that's the thing. It's just like we already have threads that are leading into things that making sense, building upon it. That when you pop in like that, win the tag team championship, then lose it, and then you turn on whoever this is, and now you want their championship. I just made my own head hurt just saying what just happened.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and honestly, like Becky Lynch is just, I like I said, we've seen it all. It's the same old Becky Lynch, same old man.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing over and over.
It's like okay, I'm done. That's crazy.
Sickening.
That was 2021.
Yeah,
Old Tribal
2021
Chief.
exactly. And when he was just finally starting to talk, when that was him finally. That's when we finally was just like, oh, okay, we have something here.
We got something. We might have something to work with.
That was showing our true colors. That was when he was showing his true colors. But honestly, looking at how Seth Rollins was talking to Sammy yesterday, I was trying to figure out why Sami Zayn wasn't going to stick to Seth Rollins' deal. Seth Rollins, when Paul Heyman sat down next to Sammy and said, "Hey, look, listen here." He was licking his lips. Listen here. He said, "I got to tell you something." He said, "Seth Rollins is going to offer you, if you could just get the hell away from what we got going on here, you could just go over to SmackDown and mind your damn business. You could be the number one contender for John Cena, so for John Cena or Randy Orton, depending on who wins. If you could just stay out of our business and shut up, just like, hey, get the hell up out of here." That's honestly, if I was Sammy, John Cena, just like, but like honestly, if I'm Sammy, I think about it. I'd be like, wait, I mean, granted, if I do that, you technically quote unquote hold me, but on the flip side,
I got a championship opportunity.
Yeah, like I'm going to SmackDown. There's a bunch of bull jive going on over here. I can come over here, fight an old head named John Cena, maybe fight an older head in Randy Orton. Come on now, brother. I ain't got to worry about what's going over there. Oh, but then again, it's just him, Moose. I could definitely just be him. I was just call it a day.
I'm saying.
And put an end to all this foolishness. So honestly, of course, as you can see from the header below, Sammy said no deal, and he got beat up for it. Braun Breaker, of course, just absolutely destroyed him. That's why when Paul Heyman left after giving Sami Zayn the offer, he looked at the highly tanned Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker was just kind of just giving him the stare down, like, "Hey man, just wink at me, and I'll spear him out of his shoes. I'll show you speed. I show speed, brother. It is what it is." So huge shout out to Braun Breaker, of course, still showing us again he is the future. Of course, he has an old man in Kentucky that's just going to glaze him to death. But I do believe that Braun Breaker is definitely going to be the future. And I believe everything Seth Rollins said. You still loving what's going on here? And are you excited for possibly seeing Sami Zayn versus Seth at Backlash if they are going there?
I'm very excited with everything they got going on because I would say just like in terms of how this is going, it's kind of cool how you just move just a couple pieces and it's like how the momentum will shift. Or like a few months ago, it's like you got Roman, it's like Paul Heyman, it's the Bloodlines all running stuff, and then like real quick, Paul Heyman just bloop, bloop, low blow. And now he with the Seth Rollins, you got Braun Breaker. It's like, dang, like I put like this, just like I said, when you move like a Paul Heyman, now you got the legitimacy there.
Yeah.
Then you got the future with Braun Breaker already there. Seth Rollins, he's like the Triple H of evolution of the whole thing, with the veteran experience. And it'll be insane if I'm not saying that they have to do it right away, but when they potentially add a fourth member, I don't know if that'll be, Sammy will finally fold in and be like, you know what, hey, you went wrong. I had to get speared a couple times, but I get it now. So maybe a fifth member would be even crazier. Put Becky Lynch in there. I'm just
put Becky Lynch in there.
She could be a Paul Heyman guy.
Please don't put Becky Lynch in there. Please don't put Becky Lynch. I'd cry if Becky Lynch became a Paul Heyman guy, Paul Heyman man. I'd be sick. I'd be like Paul Heyman.
Ready to say it.
I'd be like, you had so many other people to choose from. I would be like, let's go through the list, Paul. Paul, let's sit down and go through. We literally just talked about
all these different people that could pop in, and this is what you were going with.
Right, exactly. But, we're gonna be sitting there looking like, you ever seen that Drake? Oh, we was talking about Drake and Lil Yachty sitting at the computer.
Oh yeah,
like
Jordan. I ain't know we could just use that. Yeah, duh. I ain't know she was on SmackDown.
Right, man.
Chelsea Green. I'm just
Chelsea Green. You see, okay, this man is 954.
He's like, all right. He'd be like, all right, get this man out the kitchen.
But, get this man out the kitchen.
No,
I do see burning up the place. I'm sorry, I'm done.
I do see they got the smoke alarm going off. I'm like, all right, what is this? But I do see this leading to Sammy and Seth at Backlash, because I guess that's the route they gotta take to get to my Jey Uso Sami Zayn feud. I guess, if I gotta sit here and Triple H want us to go through stage 5, Act 17, I get it. As long as I get what I want. I'm gonna be like Batista. I see why Batista was standing up there. Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
What I want. It's like, bro, okay, you said it in a different tone. He gonna change. You know what, brother? I changed my mind.
Your voice is a little deeper. I'm a little frightened now.
I'm a little frightened.
Consider me threatened.
But even then, look, I think we did amazing today. 50 minutes of reviewing 2 shows. It literally takes us 30 minutes to review 1 segment.
Let me be professional today. Look, I was like, I ain't had no do-rag on. I brushed my hair.
I
drank my hour-old coffee.
Let's see, that's trifling.
I'm gonna pay for it in the middle of the night, but it's all good.
Well, how about you help people, throughout the night as they watch this live and close this show out? Is there any last words you have for the audience?
Let me just move, no offense to them right now, because I just don't trust them. Okay, I'm gonna just move the Lakers out of any vicinity. I know that little thing was up for the start of the episode, but I ain't feel like doing that right then. So until we see where this is going, no, because I feel highly embarrassed. But one thing I'm not embarrassed about is about being a part of this community, the Heel Turn podcast. All you people, all you brethren, all you ladies and good fellows, and I ran out of good adjectives because a lot of people ain't all that good. You know, they're real heinous, they're real dirty. It's the back alley type of people you got to watch out for. And the leader of them all is Isaiah Jackson Jr. So I'm gonna leave you all with that piece of advice on this great Tuesday. It's 9:56 p.m. I don't have to say too much more. So I'm gonna hand it back over to the number one hater in the nation, Isaiah Jackson. Find him in the back alley leading the coat or something like that. Junior, I'm gonna hand it over. I'm starting to lose control of this car.
I'm starting to lose control of this. That's crazy. Now imagine if the music was still playing and you like, well, Isaiah said I'm over here getting arrested. I'm like, what you mean? It's
what
like,
you mean I ain't doing nothing?
You just see in that little box in the corner. What you mean? Like he was just playing.
I come back. I'm like, well, guys, we'll see you next time. I gotta.
I'm like, y'all gotta turn the music down. Turn the music down so he can tell y'all he playing.
Just turn the music down.
Turn the music
down. Going on and on with all these different things you done did. I'm like, and when he see a turtle sign, he don't slow down. He run right over turtles. He don't care if it's a duck.
Right? Yeah, he just keep going. And this his confession. He wrote this down. I'm like, what we do?
I'm reading it right here. It's like my hand right.
I'm over here like, turn the music down. Turn the music down. Let him explain. The cop over here think I'm playing. Yeah, bro, turn the TV off. I'm like, no,
turn
please.
The TV off.
Please stop. But okay, I'm sorry. We played. I'm sorry. I played too much. But
it's 9:57.
I can't say we. One of us, one or both of us might be here tomorrow. I was going to ask.
No, he be trying to set me up. He be like, see, we gonna be here at 11 o'clock. Yeah. This man be all kicked up. He be having them kite balls between his toes, man. He be playing 2K. He be living like a boss, man.
That's the thing. Tomorrow gonna be much quicker because it's just one show. We did 2 shows in an hour. We can do a show in 30 minutes.
Oh, I mean, that's because it's.
Yeah, AEW probably gonna have a lot to talk about. So yeah, we might. You know how this guy get. You know he gonna get cranky. You know it's gonna be past his bedtime. You already know. So yeah.
No, it's gonna be opposite. I'm gonna be passive. You know, I'm gonna just be like, hey, if that's what y'all you want to blur, you want to sit there and stick spike in each other's backs, be my guest.
Yeah, okay. If something like that happened, yeah, we might have to stay up a little bit. I was like, we might have to stay up a little bit and talk about that. But look, we do thank you guys for tuning in. Like we said, we are cutting clips from the live stream and posting them on YouTube so you don't miss out on a single thing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I thought we did a great job with it so far, and we will continue. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Continue to do it, and we see you guys next time.